Total Health Choices for a Winning Lifestyle by Susan Boy. Physical Health, Unit 1. For thou didst form my inward parts, thou didst weave me in my mother's womb. I will give thanks to thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:13 through 14, NAS. Welcome to the human body. The awesome power of creation in sections 1.1. Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology in sections 1.2. The organization of the human body in section 1.3. 1.1 The awesome power of creation. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living being. Genesis 2:7. Do you remember a school assignment when you were asked to create something? Maybe it was an art or science project or a written essay. Most likely you were encouraged to do it on your own. The teacher may have said, be creative, use your imagination. It can be very difficult and frustrating to try to think of something without the help of someone else. Webster defines creation as the act of inventing or producing an original work of art. Have you ever thought of God as an artist? He had a blank canvas, and out of his own thoughts and imagination, without the ideas of someone else, he created the heavens and the earth. What an awesome art project. When God created man and breathed life into him, God had an original work of art. Men go abroad to wonder at the height of mountains, at the huge waves of the sea, at the long courses of the river, at the vast compass of the ocean, at the circular motion of the stars, and they pass by themselves without wondering. St. Augustine. Let yourself wonder for a moment. Close your eyes and concentrate. Do you hear your breathing? Can you feel the beat of your heart? These are obvious clues that you are alive. Now concentrate on the inside of your body. Do you feel your cells multiplying? Your organs functioning? Your intestines digesting your last meal? Or your hairs in your ears moving so that you can hear the slightest sound? These are daily functions that are often taken for granted. Your body is full of remarkable functions and abilities that scientists are learning more about every day. Have you ever noticed how a small child can find the simplest things amazing? An adult may look past a flower, but a child may stop and examine it very closely. A child's faith and gratitude is simple and uncomplicated. That is one reason Jesus had such a special place for children in his heart, Matthew 18. David expresses his appreciation to God in Psalm 139:13 and 14. For thou didst form my inward parts. Thou didst weave me in my mother's womb. I will give thanks to thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are thy works, and my soul knows it very well. If you recognize God as the creator of all things, then you can give your gratitude toward God. David says, I will give thanks to thee. God created you special, in his image, and he said it was very good. Section 1.2, Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology. This study of the human body goes back many years, but until the discovery of the microscope, scientists did not have the knowledge needed to understand the nature of the body. In 1674, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, a man who ground lenses as a hobby and used them to study small objects, opened the doors to the invisible world when he invented the microscope. Researchers used the microscope as the basis for scientific development. The microscope has brought scientists closer to the wonders of the human body and allowed scientists to branch out into numerous specialties. There are doctors who specialize in the study and treatment of the heart, cardiologists. Those who specialize in the eyes, ophthalmologists. Infants and children, pediatricians, and many more. A person who studies the structure of body parts, their forms and arrangements are called anatomists. This field is called the study of anatomy. Physiologists, on the other hand, are concerned about the function of the body parts, what they do, and how they do it. This field of study is called physiology. Anatomy and physiology are closely related, and they're often discussed together. It's difficult to separate the structure of body parts from their function. The purpose of the human body's structure and function. Ask someone this question: why is the human body built the way it is? Can anyone tell you exactly why the human body is formed the way it is? Why don't humans have eyes in the back of their heads? It would be helpful sometimes. Or why don't humans have 4 arms and hands instead of only 2? This would come in handy. No one can tell you why God formed mankind into the structure that he did. The physical body is magnificently formed. The structure and function of all body parts are focused on achieving one goal: maintaining life. The reproductive system is the only system that has a separate function from the total human body. Its primary function is to reproduce. Homeostasis is the condition of a stable internal environment. When the environment outside your body changes in temperature or oxygen, for example, the conditions within your body must remain stable. The constant need for balance is one of the body's primary functions. Something to think about. To better understand the body's ability to maintain a stable internal environment, imagine a room equipped with both a heater and an air conditioner. If the room temperature was to remain at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, the thermostat would be set at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the outside environment caused the room temp to rise above 68 set temperature, the furnace would automatically shut off and the air conditioner would turn on. With this system working properly, the room should stay at relatively constant temperature. The body's internal thermostat is set at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. If factors cause this temperature to drop, the body automatically triggers the brain to generate heat. The body may begin to shiver. If the body is too hot, the brain may turn on the body's natural cooling system and your body begins to sweat. The needs of the human body. Although you may like to think of yourself as being very independent, you are very dependent. The human body depends on certain factors for its survival. Number 1, water. Water is the most abundant substance in the human body. Number 2, food. Food is a source of energy, nourishment for growth, and the regulation of bodily functions. 3, oxygen. Oxygen is the gas that releases energy from food and supplies the body with what is needed for all functions of the body. Number 4, heat. Heat is also a form of energy. Heat is produced from the body's metabolism. 5, pressure. Pressure is necessary for bodily functions such as breathing. This list does not mention the emotional and social needs of the human body. Researchers, however, will agree that the human body needs affection and love from others to fully develop both physically and emotionally. God says that he knows your needs and that he's able to provide for you. Therefore, I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, what you will drink, about your body, what you will put on. Is not the life more than food and body more than clothing? For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things shall be added to you. Matthew 6:25, 32 through 33. Section 1.3. The organization of the human body. As God designed the human body, he did not randomly throw some materials together to form the basic frame. Out of the dust of the ground, God formed a dynamic, highly organized, living organism. Although the body is made up of basic physical elements that are found in the earth, the composition of these elements is uniquely arranged. In your biology classes, you will learn more about the specific elements that make up your human body. God created the body as a composition of parts within parts, each varying in its purpose, but each very important in the proper function of the whole. The human body is designed to move internally and externally, to respond, reacting to internal and external changes, to grow, to regulate its own functions, and to heal itself. Most importantly, it is designed to reproduce. God thought his idea was so good he wanted it to continue. He gave man and woman a great role in the creation of another human being, the miracle of conception and birth. The cell. Scientists have found the human body to be organized into 4 levels, with the cell being the smallest living unit. The human body is made up of entirely cells. Cells are your basic building blocks from which all larger parts are formed. Cells are combinations of other elements such as water, oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and other trace elements. Characteristics of a cell. Number 1, cells are alive. 2, cells have the power to move. 3, cells are sensitive. 4, cells take in oxygen. 5, cells take in food and water. 6, cells get rid of waste. 7, cells grow. And 8, cells can reproduce. The different sizes and shapes of cells have closely related to their individual function. For example, muscle cells look different than nerve cells. Thus, they have a very different function. Interestingly, cells know their function and do not try to do something they are not originally designed to do. Life begins with the union of 2 cells, the sperm cell and the egg cell, not a bone cell or a muscle cell. 2 specific separate living cells in the body join to create one living human being. Although you do not see the cell in its individual form, you see and are aware of the combinations of cells every day. Cells are responsible for the shape, organization, and construction of the body, as well as for keeping the body in a living state. Cells reproduce to provide new cells needed for growth and to replace injured cells with healthy ones. The next time you get the opportunity to view a slide of cells under the microscope, notice the life in each individual cell and marvel at the thought that your body is made up of trillions of these, in various shapes and combinations. I have closed my eyes, my shoes are kicked off, and I'm wiggling the small bones in my right foot. Exposed, they are half the width of the pencil, and yet they support my weight in walking. I cup my hand over my ear and hear the familiar seashell phenomenon, actually the sound of blood cells rushing through the capillaries in my head. I stretch out my left arm and try to imagine the millions of muscle cells eagerly expanding and contracting in concert. I rub my finger across my arm and feel the stimulation of touch cells, 450 of them in each 1-inch square patch of skin. Inside, my stomach, spleen, liver, pancreas, and kidneys, each packed with millions of loyal cells, are working so efficiently I have no way of perceiving the presence. Fine hairs in my inner ear are monitoring a squishing liquid, ready to alert me if I suddenly tilt off balance. When my cells work well, I'm hardly conscious of their individual presences. What I feel is the composite of their activity known as Paul Brand. My body, composed of many parts, is one. The tissues. Tissues are made up of similar cells that are specialized to carry on particular functions in the body. Although cells are the basic living structures of the human body, their activity becomes much more specialized when they're organized into groups or layers called tissues. The human body is organized into 4 primary types of tissues: epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscle tissues, and nerve tissues. The study of these individual tissues can be very complicated, but the following is a general overview of each. Epithelial tissues is like the sheets that cover our body's surface, inside and out. They form the most obvious protective layer, the skin, as well as the inner lining of the body cavities, such as the stomach and the intestines. Epithelial tissues can reproduce quickly in case cells are damaged or injured. For example, your skin heals quickly when you have a cut because the epithelial tissues replace the injured cells rapidly. These important tissues also provide protection. The cells of the mouth, the skin, are a good example of this function. Other functions of these specialized tissues are absorption of nutrients from your food in the intestines, the secretion of hormones in the glands, saliva in your mouth, perspiration in the skin, and enzymes in your digestion. Connective tissue. Connective tissues are in all parts of the body. They bind structures together, provide support and protection. Some stronger types of connective tissue include tendons, ligaments, bone, and cartilage. Other types of these specialized tissues store fat, produce blood cells, and destroy bacteria. Muscle tissue. You're probably most familiar with muscle tissue. Their primary function is to contract, becoming shorter or thicker, and cause body parts to move. The three types of muscle tissue are skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. The skeletal muscles can be controlled by you, thus they are said to be voluntary. These tissues are responsible for major body movements such as your arms, legs, trunk, and head. Your facial muscles are also voluntary. Smooth muscle tissue is found in the walls of hollow internal organs such as your stomach, intestines, bladder, and blood vessels. Unlike the skeletal muscles, smooth muscle tissue is involuntary. You do not have conscious control over their function. The cardiac muscle tissue is found only in your heart. Its specialization is very important in the continual function of your heart muscle. Like the smooth muscle tissue, the cardiac tissue is involuntary. You cannot control the beating of your heart. Nerve tissue. The basic cells that make up the nerve tissue are called neurons, and of all the body cells, neurons seem to be the most specialized. Nerve cells can be as long as 6 feet. Think of all the specific impulses that the nerve tissues must send in order to keep the body functioning. Nerve tissues are sensitive to changes, receive and transmit impulses to various parts of the body, and these highly complex structures are located in the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. The organs. Moving up the ladder of complexity, you reach the category of the organs. Did you know that your skin is an organ of your integumentary system, or that every separate bone in your body can be called an organ? An organ can be defined as 2 or more tissues grouped together and performing specialized functions. As the body increases in complexity, the body becomes more dependent on each functioning part. The body is like a team. Each one of its members needs to be functioning the way it was designed so that the whole body can accomplish its task. If the heart decided it was not necessary and stopped beating, the lungs would soon stop functioning. If your intestines were rebelling and decided not to absorb nutrients from foods, then the whole body would soon suffer. Every organ of your body needs to be healthy and functioning to ensure the health of the 11 systems of your body. The systems. The following chapter will give you a general overview of the systems of your body. This knowledge will help you understand the relationship between each system. Related organs help make up the systems of your body. The systems are often listed in various categories, but this book lists 11 systems of the body. Number 1, the circulatory system. 2, your respiratory system. 3, your skeletal system. 4, your muscular system. 5, your digestive system. 6, your excretory system. 7, your integumentary system or skin system. 8, your endocrine system. 9, your nervous system. 10, your immune system. And 11, your reproductive system. While you're learning about the various systems, do not be confused. When certain organs belong to more than one system, or if one system interacts directly with the other. The purpose of this unit is to give you a general introduction to anatomy and physiology. As you're learning, remember, God created man and woman in his image. He designed the body to work together as a marvelous physical and spiritual being. Chapter review. Define anatomy, physiology, homeostasis, cells, tissues, epithelial tissue, connective tissues, muscle tissues, nerve tissues, organs, and systems of the body. Explain, number 1, why the microscope changed the course of scientific research. 2, explain why anatomy and physiology are often discussed together. 3, explain the goal of all bodily structures and functions. 4, explain why homeostasis is so important to the body. 5, explain the factors that the body depends on for survival. 6, explain the characteristics of all cells. 7, list the 4 primary types of tissues in the body and explain their general function. 8, explain the unique relationship between the organs in your body and the systems in your body. Discuss. Number 1, how might having a grateful heart affect your attitude and the way you live? 2, how is the function and structure of body parts closely related? 3, Even though you may like to think of yourself as being very independent, discuss the ways in which you are really dependent on certain other factors. What are those factors? Discuss things that may not be listed in this chapter. What is meant by Matthew 6:25 through 33, and how might it affect the way you live? Suggested activities. Number 1, key concepts. Outline the chapter and make a study guide for yourself. You can work in groups to let each student be responsible for a section of the chapter. Number 2, digging deeper. Take 1 or 2 concepts in this chapter, for example, the cell, or one system of the body, the microscope, etc., and write an in-depth report researching the topic. Share the report with your class, and don't forget to include some interesting illustrations. 3. The miracle of the microscope. Get a microscope from the biology lab and learn how to properly make a slide, and then scrape some cells from your body inside your cheek or under your armpit. View them under the slide, draw pictures of what you see, and label them and put them in the class for others to see. Number 4, uniquely designed. Interview several people and ask them why they think God designed the human body the way he did. Then ask them what life would be like if we were formed differently, 4 arms or 4 eyes. Then draw a picture of yourself, or bring a few photos, and post the interviews next to your picture and put it up in the classroom. This is a fun way to learn to appreciate the way the body is uniquely designed. 5. Levels of organization. Choose a system of the body, draw a general picture of the system, then draw an organ found in that system. Then draw a tissue belonging to that organ, and lastly draw a picture of the human cell. This will show the levels of complexity of the human body. Use your biology book or your anatomy and physiology book from the library to find the illustrations. This can be done in a group where each student has something different to draw. Post these in your classroom.